Well, hello there and welcome to the bedroom of the dollhouse for another reading from The Secret Language of Birthdays by Gary Goldschneider and Used Elfers for December 4th, the day of Fortitude. That's right. And here at the top of the page is a visual representation of the day of Fortitude. We have a bit of an interesting one, a little quandary here for you biologists. I don't know quite what it is, some kind of rat dog, I suppose. I don't know. I thought it might be a wolverine of some sort, but it's kind of long through the midsection there, and it doesn't have a tail. It's stepping through a ring there. I don't know. Is that an adequate representation of the day of Fortitude? Who's to say, not being able to identify the species there, but maybe we'll make some kind of connotation regardless as we get on with the reading. Let me know down in the comments if you have an idea what the rat dog is there. At any event, like I said, not altogether all too important. What is important, though, is it's December 4th, and it's someone's birthday. With that being the case, I just want to say happy birthday. That's what's important, saying happy birthday to you. But maybe this video finds you late, I don't know, days, weeks, months, whatever the case may be. And if that is the case, well, I hope you had a happy birthday. But for everybody else joining us randomly, or more ideally, to celebrate the December 4th birthday, I just want to say hello, welcome, and I hope you enjoy yourself. Now, something I like to do around these here parts where I dive in with the birthday redirect, and that's rolling some dice. That's right, it is the DykASSt birthday broadcast, so we gotta live up to the namesake around here, right? But I don't just do that for that reason alone. No, we have a purpose for it, and that's for synchronicity's sake. And here I rolled a 3 and a 4 for a 7. And what's synchronicity, you're probably wondering? Well, it's just you getting out into the world and letting the universe show you it's with you on your path. And you do that by focusing on these numbers. You need like a little bit of a communication device between you and the universe, because too often in life we're real singular of focus. We got the blinders up as we get after our errands and whatnot, and we miss some of the things that are happening around us. That's right. We manifest certain things into this world, our aspirations, our goals, and a lot of times the universe supposedly is helping us with those things, putting things into our gravitational field, if you like, so that we can manifest those ideas into being. But we don't notice them. That's right. Even when we get off the path and the universe throws them back in the front of us, we're not seeing them. And so this is an examination or an experiment, an exercise, if you like, into noticing such things. We're even tapping into it directly with the intention of seeing what the universe has to offer. So taking those blinders off. That's right. Getting out there just for this. And so you got your numbers. That's your little agreed upon sign there. So the universe can do it most directly, right? Though that's not to say it will necessarily. That being said, you don't need to go with the numbers I rolled for you, but it is ideal you take a pair of dice so you can ascribe directional values to number sets, if you like, and time limits with which to go in those directions. But once you've established all that, you set off from a point you pick, maybe the town square. And let's go with the mall today. That might be a difficult one for me to formulate some kind of story here for you as an example. But you start off from the mall, the big map that you get lost in and trying to find where you're at. But you know what? Maybe you just ignore the map, right? You roll your dice. I mean, yeah, you feel a little bit out of your comfort zone doing something that it looks like you're playing a craps game with yourself there at the middle of the ball entrance there. So you get your directional value there, whatever you ascribe, your time limit. And you just stay eagle-eyed for things that might pop up at you, even outside of your numbers. Anomalies, if you like. Maybe you see somebody wearing a pink shirt, if you like, amidst a sea of people who are just wearing regular clothes. You go a little bit on instinct here, right? And so you're following this individual, give them some space, right? Roll a time limit, see where you're going, see what store they go into. I don't know, maybe it's like the Hot Topic or something. You don't see yourself going into the Hot Topic, normally. But hey, you know what? This is the opportunity for the universe to line things up for you. So you poke around the Hot Topic a little, maybe roll dice to figure out which aisle you're gonna go down or what you're gonna look at. Maybe you don't spend all day in there because there's just too many things to see, right? But hey, maybe you see something that you didn't know existed, but was something on your mind, some kind of or a gift for somebody that that would speak to them perfectly. And I was having trouble shopping for them. I was thinking about this last week, and this is perfect. Boom. There's maybe something that's a little weak, maybe a little bit of a coincidence. And you're just shopping in the mall. Well, you know what? Roll your dice again. See where you go. Maybe you head on out, and the The dice take you to a tea shop, perhaps. I don't know. How do we know it's the tea shop? Well, maybe you get out there and as you hit the time limit and that directional value, boom, there's a 34 in the window. What's that about? Hey, their 34th blend is on sale. You know what? Not much of a tea person? Give it a shot. See what you see. And maybe the point is they don't like it at all. But hey, maybe you meet the person behind the counter and they ask how they can help you today. And you're like, well, I just saw the 34 in the window and I'm here because of synchronicity. And then, what are you talking about? We sell tea here. And you show them this video maybe. Be very transparent about all this because that attracts more interest. And sometimes, you know what? Maybe that person will close up shop because nobody's buying tea either. Nobody else is buying tea either. They close up shop. They go out there with you. And you start generating a little bit more power, this communication there, more manifestation because somebody else is concentrating on it too. And it makes it more fun. So you just made another friend, you roll the dice, and maybe that guy with the pink shirt comes back out again, right? Because you're not seeing any numbers at this point yet. That 34 was pretty glaring, but that doesn't happen all that often, if ever, right? It's the pink shirt guy comes back out again. Like, hey, I followed this guy before to the Hot Topic. And they're like, really? That's kind of creepy. We shouldn't do that. You go, yeah, but we got away with it last time, or I did rather. And so they're like, okay, let's do it. And then you know what? Maybe the person sees you following them. Oh, isn't that uncomfortable? Hey, look, you know what we're doing? We're being transparent again. Show them this video. The other person will be, saying, hey, I closed up shop. He didn't want the tea. And they're like, you mean number 34? How could you not want that? Who's to say? Maybe that's the case. And they're like, you knew about blend number 34? And you're like, am I already out of this conversation? Hey, you might just be. You might have put two people together. That's right. Pink shirt guy and the tea individual. Who's to say? But I think you get the idea. Getting out there and seeing what the universe puts in your path. Hey, maybe it wasn't about you. Maybe it was about them. I don't know. You can get some kind of fulfillment out of that, can't you? I know I could. Although I'd be a little brokenhearted for myself. But in any event, hey, you got two new friends. You guys got a great story. A great meet cute story that you're involved in. There you go. All right. In any event, I think you get the idea. So get on out there. See, taste, touch, feel, maybe even smell a little bit of that magic. And those teas smell pretty good. That's right. But that being said, let's get on with your birthday read, all right? Your month is December. Your day is the 4th. Your sign is 11 to 13 degrees Sagittarius, of the Sagittarius II period specifically. And your quality and element is mutable fire. All right. December 4th, the day of Fortitude. Those born on December 4 are gutsy, aggressive individuals who have the courage to go for it. Heart and soul. Pain, conflict, and struggle are no strangers to them, and they may repeatedly be faced with the challenge of great difficulties and overwhelming odds. Nonetheless, they stand a fairly good chance of achieving their far-reaching goals through an unusual combination of grace and vitality, all the while being careful not to incite jealousy in others. Many born on this day, however, have a knack for instilling fear in the most powerful of adversaries, or at least worrying sense of anxiety. And it must be said that a certain ruthlessness of purpose often accompanies this day. And the enemies of December 4 people probably sense that little, if any, mercy will be afforded them. December 4 people can display touches of egomaniacal and sociopathic tendencies, but fortunately such urges rarely come to dominate their personality. Normally their ideals and beliefs remain uncorrupted, and they often put themselves in service of some higher human, political, or artistic cause. And indeed they will suffer their own comfort and security for what they believe. Usually blessed with a talent for organization, they have the capacity to listen to their colleagues or employees, but tolerate no serious threat to their authority, which must remain unchallenged. The temptation to secure absolute power in their sphere, which as humble as their home or expansive as a nation, it says in parentheticals, is very great to them, or for them rather, and they may in fact need to be checked or moderated for their own sake. Also, the danger exists that they will take on more responsibilities than they can handle. And for December 4 people, more than others, knowing their limitations can save them many frustrations and indignities. Usually the critical faculties of December 4 people are highly developed. They have a rare ability to size up a person or argument quickly and accurately, without relying on preconceived ideas or prejudices. However, if they are emotionally involved with the subject of their objectivity, or their objectivity can be clouded. Consequently, December 4 people must make an effort to keep their public and private lives distinct and separate. For example, highly destructive consequences can result from favoring their own friends in business matters. The sooner December 4 people rein in sometimes disruptive, often theatrical sides of their nature, the better. And this is not to suggest that they should suppress their individualism or pizzazz, but that they come to better understand the impact of their actions on their environment. And those December 4 people who grow wiser with age must learn to harness their energies in a more constructive and productive way, thereby making important social contributions to the life around them. All right, how about that for a birthday breakdown there? Pretty interesting, I thought. Pretty dynamic, even though it was kind of narrow of focus. We're kind of getting a little bit of that this period. But not that being said, I still think there's quite a bit of value in what they've been contributing. But maybe I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I like to provide a little bit of a commentary, so let's dive into the notes here. See what I had to say about it. Maybe make some connections with other things. All right, December 4, the day of Fortitude. All right, your gutsy, aggressive individuals with the courage to go for things, heart and soul. All right, definitely needs reiterated, I would say. Which is good news if pain, struggle, and challenge of overwhelming odds are in fact hardships that you tend to face more than others. What else we got here? And I imagine it must be a reality, as such descriptions aren't often related on other days. But they drilled down on this specifically for you. And everybody faces challenges and struggles, right? So for you, for it to get mentioned, it must be a significant struggle. All right. That said, the reading claims that you approach as much with grace and vitality. So maybe that's why it gets mentioned, right? Because of your approach to as much. Might not be more significant than others, but the way you handle it is. You also have a penchant for stirring up fear and anxiety in your enemies, or the most powerful of adversaries, as they put it. The reading also conveys there may be a certain lack of purpose and a touch of an egomaniacal or sociopathic tendency in your personality. But whatever that's supposed to mean, or whatever shape or form that may take or manifest as, there's that title of the day, right? As such, because of the Fortitude, the reading claims you're able to curtail such drives and put yourself toward the service of a higher purpose, all right? So it's very interesting they mention that, and then they throw that other dynamic in there to curtail it, like I messed up saying. And to the extent you do that, you'll sacrifice your own well-being, it also said. To that end, you apparently have a talent for organization and an open ear, all right? I'm guessing for the advice or objective criticism about what you're doing there. But you brook no truck for challenges against your station. Even if you got that open ear, you're not going to let anybody try to usurp your authority, right? Which, considering you're apparently drawn to the allure of absolute power, and you may not necessarily have a great limit on your limitations there, or a great handle on it, rather. And I say the capacity to hear others may be your saving grace in that realm. Other people who don't have that open ear, you know what? It might get out of hand for them. You might get another dictator on your hands who tries to take over the world. What else do we have here? From the sounds of things, however, relationships and emotional ties, that may be a different matter altogether, all right? Your objectivity potentially stands to get clouded if you let personal and private things start to commingle. They mentioned the business relationships with friends. Hey, it might be, there could be all other kinds of examples for that too. But knowing yourself and your nature without sacrificing what makes you an individual and your arguable force to be reckoned with, dedication, I would say that you were focused on, if you were focused on constructive ends, none of that's going to matter. It's going to all go by the wayside, all right? And many people may stand between you and your efforts, for example. And assuming they don't already, hey, and maybe you're just fine with that. Maybe you're not the dictator, all right, the brutal, tyrannical individual, and you're still faced with all those things. So I think I got a little bit disconnected there. I think you get the point. We struggled through that one, didn't we? That's what I'd say about the breakdown. So don't get tyrannical, all right? Don't let things commingle, and you're going to be just fine. The sociopathic, egomaniacal things, I'm surprised it even got mentioned. But maybe that's a dynamic in there. So they're saying, and I would say it brings you to even higher pinnacle there if you're able to curtail those things. But I think we said all that. I'm trying to save something I stumbled on a little bit. So let's move on to your numbers and planets, rather. Those born on the 4th day of the month are ruled by the number 4 and the planet Uranus, or Uranus if you like. People ruled by the number 4 have their own, often peculiar, way of doing things, and Uranus indicates sudden changeability and unpredictable action. Traits that can be magnified in December for people. And those ruled by the number 4 generally show little concern for making money, particularly in their younger years. And this seems to hold true for December 4 people, who are often taken up with ideas instead. And December 4 people do, however, understand the relation between money and power. And due to the influence of the planet Uranus, those ruled by the number 4 can be quick and explosive in their change of mood, qualities enhanced along with material luck and aggressiveness, it says in parentheticals, in December 4 people by Jupiter's rulership of their sign, Sagittarius. All right, hey, what I have to say about your numbers and planets. I share this number with you here. Mine's a little bit different, though. I mean, let's dive into it, see what I have to say before I get ahead of myself here. The number 4 and Uranus for quick and explosive changes of mood. I got explosive and erratic. And they also included this other one here, quick and explosive. There's just some vacillating pairs of different dynamics for the Uranus ones, and that's the one you got. What else we got here? Which, when coupled with the planet Jupiter, the expansive planet Jupiter, the king of the gods, it says in the back of the book, it imparts a strong drive to come out on top, which I would argue was seeded throughout the breakdown writ large. And this was highly personalized numbers and planets for you to a large extent. Little regard for money, you're taken up with ideas. That's a popular Uranus thing. You have a particular way of doing things, that as well. That said, this is the first mention that I can recall of the book mentioning Jupiter imparting material luck, and I'm glad they did. I was waiting for it because they break that down in the back of the book, and I was just waiting for Jupiter to come up and mention luck, all right? But interestingly, they couple that to one of the reasons that influences an explosive change of mood. So that's a really interesting dynamic I found, because you would think, hey, you know, luck's a good thing, right? Well, maybe it's not. Maybe you get all these lucky things, but it changes you for the better or worse, right? I'm sure there's got to be some good stuff. So here I am waiting for the Jupiter luck quality to finally get mentioned, and they marry it to a less than desirable way in which it's described there. Which, true or not, I got to say I really liked the irony also. And the breakdown claimed that you suffer great challenges, right? And so, like I said, not all luck is great, I would assume. So maybe I'm starting to see those struggles they're talking about. And imagine if you were just this individual who had the luck, but like once you got lucky, the bad things started to happen. I could see the great struggle in that regard. That's right. So maybe that's why they curtail mentioning luck, is to say. In any event, I'm just glad they mentioned it, brought it up there. So that being said, that's what I had to say about your numbers and your planets. Let's move on to your tarot. one of the more eclectic of the New Age metaphysical ideologies, but it's here in the book. We don't have to take it home with us and start dealing out the cards to predict our future, or I don't know, what do they use tarot cards for? Who's to say? But I'm just trying to say we can leave it here in the book once we're done. So let's see what we can see. Take the blinders off, right? The fourth card of the major arcana is the Emperor, who rules over worldly things through wisdom, the primary source of his power. The Emperor is stable and wise, and the force of his authority cannot be questioned. Oh, I'm starting to see something here. The positive associations of this card are strong willpower and steadfast energy. And negative indications include stubbornness, tyranny, and even brutality. Oh boy, do you see all the connections in there? You know, a lot of times, you see these television shows with the tarot cards, and you're like, come on, where are they getting all that? This card almost seemed to inform the breakdown. I don't know how true the breakdown is for you, but pretty interesting. The card lined right up. And let me tell you something. The number 4 always lands on, it was the fourth card, like they said. It always lands on number 4. So maybe it does inform it a little bit. That's the one I got. I don't know if I got this crystallized wisdom or force of my authority to say, but I think it lines up pretty great for you. But I'm getting ahead of myself potentially. Let's see what I had to say in the notes. The Emperor for the rule over the worldly things through wisdom. All right. The source of your power. You're, in this case, a temptation. All right. For as much. Perhaps. That's what they said in the breakdown. A source needing moderation, perhaps, especially if your power cannot be questioned, lest you instill fear in your adversaries. So use your willpower and your steadfast energy to maybe avoid reaching your ultimate power. Why do I say that? For everybody else's sake. That's right. Lest we get the brutality and the tyranny from that temptation for your authority, right? And you don't want to be that person. No, sir. The dictator. Even though you probably do. Apparently. All right. Even more ironically. That's right. They said you have the temptation for that power. But you got to keep yourself shackled a little bit there for everybody else's benefit. I like that. In any event, I hope you appreciate the irony there too. In any event, that's been your tarot. I thought it almost informed the breakdown, like I said. So pretty good choice there. So let's move on now to your health. That's right, your health. Let's see what it has to say. December 4 people must be careful that their aggressive energy does not get out of control. All right. For their own sake and that of their friends as well as their family. Vigorous physical exercise is recommended, including competitive team sports and endurance activities, to say mountain climbing, running, even water sports, to work off their excess energy and aggression. Learning how to meditate and still the mind, will, and desires for a few minutes each day may also be helpful. And December 4 people may do best with a diet built around more stable foods, to say grains, root vegetables, hearty soups, and breads, and reduce emphasis on sugar, spices, as well as alcohol. All right, here, what I have to say about your health. Let's dive into it. All right. See, careful your aggression, okay? Again, for your own sake and that of others. Vigorous exercise for you. Maybe to exercise some of those demons you carry around, all right? I don't know, maybe in some cases anyhow. The recommendations of meditation. Okay, I can't imagine that's what you want to hear, necessarily, but maybe also imagine the benefits of as much. Imagine the benefits of meditation. And maybe that can be your very first meditation, all right? Picking up on the aggression theme a little bit heavy-handed here in the latter half of this breakdown here. By and large, it reads quite a bit like a Mars day to some extent, god of war energy. Perhaps Uranus and Jupiter are that volatile combination. Is to say. I mean, they always, by and large, associate Uranus with explosive and erratic energy. And Jupiter is said to further endorse certain, whatever particular characteristics belong to whatever planet rulership lands on somebody. So those things might be further emphasized. And then you get the Jupiter draw to be on top, and expansive. I'm not always sure what expansive means, but Jupiter was almost a secondary star. And I don't know how much that relates over to that, but it's the biggest planet in the galaxy there, or our galaxy, or not galaxy, our solar system. Yeah, who's to say how much of this really translates over? What with the what's it called? Astrology, though. Who's to say? But I think you can kind of see the idea there. And if you can't, well, that's okay. Not a lot of people believe in this stuff anyway. So we're just taking it as food for thought, right? Having some fun with it. That being said, like I said, Uranus and Jupiter for the volatile combination, except with facets of peculiarity, right? And so that's cool, I think. Peculiarity. Got to be different than everybody else. I appreciate it, and I'm a number 4 day. I'm assuming you appreciate it too. So we'll go with that, an assumption, right? But I say that the primary diet and aggression stuff is pretty interesting too. It kind of sealed the deal for me that this may be a volatile idea, this combination, because Mars is often the planet that gets all the aggression and anger, and they definitely drill down on a diet for Mars specifically, like cutting out red meats and yang type foods, I believe. Yours is said the hearty foods, so maybe not so earthy, but maybe kind of in that realm, because it is a little bit different than an earthy diet, but pretty close, I would say. Maybe breads wasn't in the earthy diet. What's it, hearty soups? What do they call bulk vegetables is another one. The thing that moves stuff. The bulk grains and vegetables helps move things through your digestive system. They don't mention that here, but they get a lot of those descriptor words associated with the diet. And you got the grounded, the stable foods, if you like. All right, I'm going on the diet too much. I think you get the idea. And stay away from the alcohol there. That doesn't help your aggression, I don't imagine. They say so as well. And even that's been your health. Let's move on to some advice. Learn that the greatest power is the power of love. All right? Keep your spirits high, but direct at all times. And take on more internal rather than external responsibilities. And keep the welfare of others in mind. And don't be so fearful of losing your authority. All right, your advice. I wrote quite a bit about this one, and the type is small because I ran out of space in the notepad, so bear with me here. Another struggle we're going to go through together, all right? Learn love, the greatest power of all. Okay, so that you can ostensibly use it against your enemies. That's right. You always need another tool in the bag, so why not the most powerful one of all? That's right, the greatest power of all. Okay, see, keep your spirit high and directed, perhaps to keep your strengths where they are there to best serve you. And crushing your enemies, I wrote again. That's right. That's what I'm guessing. That's why you need your powers at hand. Let's see, you also want to be proper about it. Let's see. Internal responsibilities here rather than external. You can't properly crush your enemies if you aren't proper, right? That's what I wrote. I mean, you probably can, but you want to be at your best now, don't you, when you're crushing them? To do it proper, if you like. So keep the welfare of others in mind. Those you're, saving from the power of your enemies, right? That's right, ideally. And don't be fearful of losing your authority. That's right here. Because you and I know it's never going to happen, right? That's right. Unless a little bit of that, insecurity starts to pop up. That's right. Reading that, it happens sometimes when emotions enter into the chat room there. That's right. Remember they said that you can forget a little bit of that objectivity when you get into the personal relationships. And that objectivity goes out the window, remember? That's right. All things being said, all seriousness, crushing your enemies and all of that, it led me to think about the worst enemy is yourself, right? You're your own worst enemy. So maybe all this fighting you're doing against the enemy, it's yourself. That's right. And so you want to do it with love. That's right. Oh, interesting. Changing the jokey dynamic on yourself, aren't you? Now it makes a little more sense, doesn't it? Not so much of a bad joke. So crush your enemies. Crush that enemy part of you. Get to know your better inner nature. That's right. Meditate on it, perhaps. I don't know how much seriousness there is to be taken, this power of your authority to take on the world, egomaniacal, sociopathic tendencies. But if it's real, you may just be that kind of own worst enemy kind of dynamic there. But that's just being said. You got to have some love for yourself. You're your own best friend too. I would probably argue. There's going to be a flip side to all that. So you know what? Crush the enemy, endorse the friend. But you know what? You need the strength of the enemy too. That's right, to beat down your actual aggressors. But they could also serve you in the future. So be diplomatic about it. Who's to say? Or at least be objective. Have an open ear. There was so much good advice here today, and it wasn't even mentioned in the advice. That said, keep your own welfare in mind too, and that of others, because you could get off the handle there and throw them into the stew of aggression. Who's to say? And even like I said, it's going to be hard to keep up with me here. It's going to be a struggle, but I think we did it all right. I tied it all together there at the end to some extent. So anyway, that's been your advice. Let's move on to your meditation. That's right. Let's get back on track here a little bit better. Your meditation. Relinquishing power may at certain times be the most important thing one can do. All right, I like this one for you. The focus on the power all the time here. Let's do it again. Relinquishing power may at certain times be the most powerful thing one can do. All right, that's your meditation. It's your birthday. I'm not going to throw some spin on it, apparent or not. It's for you to meditate on, so I'm going to leave it with you. That being said, your meditation in the can, as it were. Let's move on to your strengths and weaknesses. Let's keep that open ear for the objective read on who we are, what we've got going on for us. That's right. Let's start off strong with your strengths. That's right. You're energetic. Yeah, you're gutsy. You're gutsy. And you're aggressive. Oh, aggressive is a strength here. Interesting. I like that. That dovetails nicely with some of the things I was saying. So what could your weaknesses be? Oh, your weaknesses. You know, I've argued in the past that sometimes our weaknesses can be strengths. That's right. So let's just see what they got in store for you here. Your weaknesses. All right. You're disruptive, authoritarian, and you're controlling. All right. Disruptive, authoritarian, and controlling. Well, you know what? You just got to get energetic, gutsy, and aggressive with those things. Your weaknesses don't stand a chance. Disruptive, okay, we get it. But authoritarian, controlling, hey, you know what? You're energetic and you're gutsy. You're going to get past those things pretty easy. But remember, your weaknesses could also be strengths. That's right. Disrupt the scene there. Throw in some authoritarianism and control the situation. That's right. People might not like it, but sometimes it's got to get done, right? Sometimes you got to take handle of things. That's right. Just remember that love. Do it with love. That's right. All right. So those have been your strengths and your weaknesses. Let's move on to those born on this day. When we get into those born on this day, not only get to see what lottery we drew, who shares your company, but I like to segue into examining something I find important, and that's figuring out our passions. Too often I get out in the world and meet folks, ask them what they do, and if they like it, most importantly, if they like it and they don't. And you know why I think that is? Just because they got out of school, got into the first job that came along, and at its base, at its fundamental core, they had nothing to do with what they wanted to do. Maybe it's just, something to make that money. And then it gets easy. You get used to things and you just start climbing that corporate ladder. But again, the fatal flaw, the crux there, it wasn't something they were passionate about. And sometimes we don't even know what we like, let alone what we're passionate about. It takes time and effort to figure those things out sometimes. And if you got a full-time job and the weekend's coming up and you got bed sheets to change because we're here in the bedroom, right? Well, there's just no time to put in that effort. And so I figure not only a great opportunity to see who shares your company, maybe understand what they did, maybe we can take some inspiration from it. I know it's a hard ask, a big ask, hard sell perhaps to see what other people's passions have to do with your life, but maybe just putting the bug in your ear about it can help stir up the fires, get you interested in it again, because we want to be doing backflips out of bed in the morning to get on with our day and feel fulfilled about life and what we're doing with it. That's right. So let's get into it. Let's do some examination of those born on this day. We start off with Wassily Kandinsky, the Russian painter, theorist, and modern art founder. That's right. We also have Edith Cavell, World War I British nurse, Belgian nursing school, hospital founder, captured and shot by a German firing squad, it says. We have Rainier Maria Rilke, a German poet of sonnets to Orpheus, and a writer of notebooks of Malte Laurids Brig. I'm not quite sure about that one. TV Song, Soong, or Soong perhaps. A Chinese financier, founder, and president of the Bank of China, and funded a newly reformed republic. We also have Lillian Russell, actress, outstanding entertainment figure of the 1890s and the later 20th century, a feminist there. Francisco Franco, a Spanish dictator and a Civil War general. We also have Sergei Bubka, a Ukrainian Olympic gold medal winning pole vaulter and the first to clear 20 feet, it says. All right. Then we have Jeff Bridges, that's right, the film actor. Lou Jenkins, a world lightweight champion boxer. Thaddeus R.R. Mann, British physiologist and a reproductive chemist, a biochemist rather, and is responsible for a book by the title of Biochemistry of Semen, apparently. We also have Jim Hall, the jazz guitarist. That might be the first one I've seen in the book here. We have Wynton Kelly, a jazz pianist. We also have Francis Power Cobb, an anti-vivisectionist. Interesting job title. Thomas Carlyle, a British 19th century cultural historian, a critic, as well as a writer. We have Deanna Durbin, a film actress. We also have Aaron Siskind, a photographer and an educator. Chris Hillman, bluegrass rock guitarist and a bassist, a mandolinist of the Byrds, the Flying Burrito Brothers, and Manassas. We also have Samuel Butler, a British 19th century satirical novelist of Eriwan, was perhaps the name of the book he wrote. Horst Buchholz, German stage and film actor. We also have Herbert Reed, British art historian and poet. And one I threw in here, Dennis Wilson of the Beach Boys fame. Now, I saw a little bit of an article on him and just kind of the tragic happenstance of his life. And I would say he had a heck of a struggle himself. And you kind of found out that he was one of the foundational members, kept a lot of them together when there were otherwise big issues going on inside the band. So I had a newfound respect for him when I read as much. And then some of my favorite songs he was the singer of. So Dennis Wilson, that's right. Many events. That being said, that's, those born on this day, which essentially wraps up your birthday read. I know, like I said, it's a big-ass hard sell to try to take inspiration from other people's lives, but and then you're just hearing them kind of rattled off, and a lot of them are big names that you've never heard of before. And it seems like they might have changed the social outlook of things, or did this or did that. And like I said, I know big ass, big tell, maybe, or a tall order rather, and maybe the things they did weren't even their passions. But most importantly, maybe you can help just stir up your own fires about as much from hearing these kinds of things. And me asking you the question or proposing the idea, stir up them fires. If there's anything I can hope for you on your birthday, it's that you figure out your passion, all right? Or you get on the right path to doing as much. And maybe you already know all that stuff. And if I do, hats off to you. You can just enjoy that there are these people you never heard of before to share your company. But in any event, I think you get the idea. That's been those Born and Stay. Hope you figure out your passions or you start getting on your way to doing as much. And that essentially rounds out your birthday. That being said, we got a few more things to impart here. Maybe ones you've heard before. I know you haven't heard this one, though. Your season is fall. Your sign, once again, is Sagittarius, of the Sagittarius II period specifically. And your quality and element is mutable fire. I butchered the copy like crazy today, so that's a little bit notable for me. That's right. Once again, I don't know that we necessarily made a connotation with the badger, the rat dog, whatever it was, but said you were ferocious, aggressive, all of that. I could see that being a good representation of it. But again, this has been December 4th, the day of Fortitude from The Secret Language of Birthdays by Gary Goldschneider and Used Elfers. I have an affiliate link for this down in the description if you're interested in picking up a copy, maybe getting through the read a little bit easier and less aggressive than I did. I don't know if I was aggressive about it, but I stumbled quite a bit. So that being said, this makes a great coffee table book. If you have company over and you have a hard time breaking the ice, this is going to get it done. For better or for worse. And you're probably going to be amused by the kinds of things you notice from as much. People going, it doesn't sound like me at all. And you're having a good laugh about it. Because maybe they get a little riled up about it. Who's to say? In any event, save the hassle of having to type it in the browser if you go through the link and you support the channel in the bargain, which I appreciate. But not altogether all too important, like I like to say, when we're talking about somebody's birthday. That's right. What is important, I know I've said it at the top, wishing you a happy birthday. So once again, I just want to say happy birthday. Hope you enjoyed yourself and just going over some of the particulars of your day there, assuming they apply. If they didn't, hey, I just hope you had some fun with it. That being said, for everybody else that joined us, ideally to celebrate, I hope you enjoyed yourself too. And you join us for your birthday read. With that being said, lest I forget, your daily numbers. That's right, your 3 and your 4 for a 7. Get out there to a mall, the town square, whatever the case may be, and give the universe, the powers that be, the opportunity to show you they're with you on your path. Try to manifest something. Just see a little hint of the magic out there. See, taste, touch, feel, maybe even smell a little bit of it. And you'll see why I suggested it. If any of those coincidences or things start to line up for you, you might just find it makes your day. I hope it does. I hope that for you. That being said, once again, I just want to say happy birthday, all right? Take care of yourself. Don't turn into an authoritarian unless you need to, unless it's required of you. And lead with love. That's right. The most powerful tool in the bag. That's right. All right. Take care of yourselves. And once again, happy birthday.